Located in between two of Cecil County's biggest towns, Rising Sun and Northeast, Fairwinds Farm has been owned and operated by Ted and Joanne Dawson since February of 1999. Some call it a horse farm. Others call it an equestrian center. But this year, we can call it the best farm in the county. The Dawsons run a jack-of-all farms in a sense, where you can participate in a horseback riding lesson, fish down at the pond, have a sleigh ride or a hay ride on a trail, and enjoy a horse-driven carriage, all in one day. Then, you can spend the night at the bed and breakfast. Farming has been in Joanne's blood for generations. Her father, Robert Stafford, ran a dairy farm that was passed through his family for years and years. Her mother, Mabel Stafford, acted as a strict but loving mother who raised Joanne as a tough farm girl who would end up being an active member of the Future Farmers of America and meeting President Ford along the way. Growing up in Newark, Delaware, Joanne learned at an early age what farm life was like. She and her first loved lady would go exploring throughout Newcastle County and try to stay out of trouble. Although Ted was not born and raised on a farm like Joanne, the work ethic required by a life on the farm was ingrained in his character early on by his father and mother, Fred and Helen Dawson. Ted was notorious for trying to stay out of trouble, but not usually succeeding. Ted and Joanne attended Newark High School together and knew of each other, mostly Joanne knowing of Ted and what he did that weekend. They officially met while attending the University of Delaware when Lynn, Ted's sister, introduced Joanne, her roommate at the time, to Ted. Ted and Joanne married in 1983 and moved into a trailer on Joanne's father's farm. Ted and Joanne helped around the farm and waited for their opportunity to move on to bigger and better things to lease Carousel Farm in Pike Creek, Delaware. While at Carousel, the Dawsons built a successful business where they would remain for 13 fruitful years. Along the way, they had two boys, Zach and Nick, who would help around the farm and relished in all the adventures the farm life presented. During the Carousel years, Ted and Joanne maintained a 220-acre, 60-horse farm and put their business practice, a practice held together by Joanne's flair and creativity and Ted's knack for resourcefulness and luck, that would remain intact and reflects the way Fairwinds is run today. In 1999, the Dawsons left Carousel to move to Tailwinds Farm, later to be renamed Fairwinds Farm and Stables. So they uprooted the kids and Uncle Bart and moved to good old Northeast Maryland. Moving into a late 19th century Victorian-style house that was run down, Ted and Joanne had their work cut out for them. With some perseverance and elbow grease, the Dawsons would have Tailwinds Farm up and running in no time. Ted also ordered a coverall indoor ring and built it with his bare hands. It remains one of the few in the county. The Dawsons also leased some space in Fair Hill, Maryland, and named it Fair Hill Stables, where they gave trail rides, horseback riding lessons, and hay rides until 2009. During their tenure at Fairwinds, Ted and Joanne have balanced managing two farms along with other extracurricular pursuits. Joanne's interest in acting, both as an amateur and a professional writing books and taking care of numerous odd pets, shows she is not the typical farm owner. She even won the Most Beautiful Person award. Meanwhile, Ted launched several entrepreneurial ventures, some successful, some not, and some downright kooky. In 2001, Ted and Joanne officially started their bed and breakfast business, where you and your horses can sleep and eat and listen to the Dawson stories by the fire at night. The bed and breakfast, along with the farm, was featured on Good Morning America in a profile of 5 places to visit in Maryland. They're even open on Christmas. We won't talk about that. Summer day camp at the Dawson's Farms has been a trademark for years. 20+ kids per week attend to learn all the facets of owning a horse, from knowing the different parts of the saddle to everyone's favorite, learning how to take a horse's temperature. For more advanced riders, the horseback riding lessons have also proven popular throughout the Dawson's career, a tribute to the loyal staff and affordable rates. For the most dedicated riders, Joanne created the Fairwinds Trotters, a 4-H group that showcased their knowledge of horse history and a knack for the theater by putting on an annual horseplay that was featured at the Cecil County Fair. Even Ted got involved. Every Christmas, Ted and Joanne invite the public to Fairwinds to view a live nativity scene with real live singing angels, live animals, and Joanne reading passages from the Bible. Ted grows and sells his own produce, bales and feeds his own hay, and maintains and fixes anything that breaks down around the farm. This past August, Governor Martin O'Malley and his crew visited Fairwinds and held assembly for his annual Capital for a Day initiative. Like any farm family, the Dawsons have remained close, and although Zach is a consultant in Washington, D.C., and Nick is enrolled at the University of Maryland, they still come home for a good stall muck every now and then. Recently, Ted and Joanne have imparted their lifelong farming knowledge to students at Cecil College, Joanne teaching acting and horse handling, and Ted teaching pasture management. They have also given back to their community by participating actively in the Cecil County Farm Bureau, Northeast Chamber of Commerce, Cecil County Tourism Committee, Neighborhood Youth Panel, and BPAC. Ted is known for employing upstart teenagers and acting as a father figure to many. Joanne is known for her inspiration to youth who have ridden at the farm throughout the years. Together, they are known for creating an exciting, educational, and fun atmosphere at Fairwinds Farm that has affected all who have driven through the signs at the end of the driveway. Congratulations, Ted and Joanne, on the Cecil County Farm Bureau Farm of the Year Award.